One Piece has always been a controversial series when it comes to characters dying. Just look at the recent big death Cobra and how much we are getting off of it. Then there's of course Oda, the man everyone thinks that won't kill off any characters. Like honestly, the rage I saw in Wano with the red scabbers, like honestly, and then you see the end, Izo and Ashura actually do get funerals, do get graves, and they do pass away. And then of course there's the flashback deaths that Oda does so amazing. Let's be honest, there's a guarantee to be an epic death if there's a flashback going on. Like some of my personal favorite is Fisher Tiger when he didn't want to take the blood of the human, or of course Kozuki Yoden when he was boiled and Kaido was disrespecting it. He's like, yeah, this guy's the GOAT. And of course Nolan, you see the profile picture, has been there for years. Nolan the Liar. Just look at how this series started with a flashback. Chapter 1, Death of Goldie Roger, Pirate King. Now don't even get me started on Pell. Pell is, after rereading Alabasta, Pell is one of the funniest fake outs I've ever seen. And I feel like Oda did that for a certain reason. The mystery of Kaido and Big Mom is still up in the air, of course. We do not know what Oda's going to do with them. Are they dead? Are they going to come back? Who knows? But I do want to say this. Oda did say pirates die when they, of course, are crushed by Luffy. So their dreams being crushed is worse than actually dying. So Luffy's been killing a lot of these villains that we've seen in the One Piece story. Now, I do want to say this. He's been doing it from the likes of the likes of Crocodile, all the way to Wano, the likes of Kaido. Or how he said that he wants a big party at the end of One Piece. And that's why he can't really kill off that many characters. He loves parties after arcs, and that's why he doesn't like to kill a lot of characters. Death would kind of ruin the party if you think about it. And honestly, this makes me think, of course, the amazing deaths we do recognize Oda for, like of course Portgas the Ace, Luffy's brother, the loving support he got right before he died, the Whitebeard pirates, the fleet, of course, the people from Impel Down, Luffy, and pretty much regretting saying this, but he was happy to see everyone actually come and save him. And of course he was kind of regretting not seeing Luffy achieve his dream, but he knew Luffy's gonna reach the pirate summit. And of course Whitebeard's death, just an epic death, standing while dying, no marks on his back because he never ran away from the fade. And of course he said the meme, the One Piece is real. Now of course it's a legendary meme, he's a legendary character. All I gotta say is this: I had to announce that One Piece is gonna have some crazy deaths in the future, and if you guys want to stick to the end of the video, I'll tell you why it's gonna have some crazy deaths. It all has to do with Cobra, guys. So let's get into it. Let's take a deep dive in the new deaths in One Piece. Now, going back all the way to the Reverie, chapter 908, the Gorosei are discussing Cobra from the Nefetrari dynasty. Of course, they're one of the founding kingdoms of the world government, but they chose to live in the Blue Sea. So the Gorosei call him a traitor, even though they know he wants to meet with them. They don't look at him as a respectable celestial dragon. They look like him as a former celestial dragon, or someone who did not want to be a celestial, the chance to be a celestial dragon, lived the greatest life you can ever live. Let's be honest, the last 1,000 years, it might be crazy as this, but celestial dragons have been better living, honestly. So I do want to say that the fact that Cobra said nah, the Gorosei probably do feel some type of way, and that's why it was the start of some crazy events. Of course, we're in the same chapter, we see Imsama looking at Vivi's picture. Now the reason why this was so interesting to me is because we see of course Shirahoshi's picture and whatnot, everything, the princess of course Fishman Island, which was interesting. But Luffy and Marshall DT is their bounty posters, so it's not that crazy for Imsama to have those pictures. But Vivi's picture, think about this. This is Alabasta, you guys. This is the princess of Alabasta. It's not crazy to have it, but still, it's not a wanted poster. So why are you staring at this princess picture? That's what all I was thinking about when Imsama was looking at Vivi's picture. Of course, chapter 1054, news breaks of Sabo killing Cobra. He becomes the Flame Emperor, even more famous than the Rebellious Dragon, starting a crazy rebellion in 8 kingdoms. Of course, one of those kingdoms being Luccia. And honestly, this was very, very big for the Revolutionary Army. Of course, in chapter 1060, Luffy finds out the news and he's not buying it. He's not thinking Sabo's gonna kill, of course, Vivi's father. He doesn't see it happening because he knows how Sabo is. He grew up with Sabo. He knows Sabo's morals. Nico Robin has the same conclusion, but her way of thinking was more so, it's not logical for, of course, the Revolutionary Army to take out King Cobra, a just ruler. So I love to see the difference dynamics between Robin and Luffy, both having the same answer but going to the answer differently. I thought that was interesting. Of course, in the same chapter, Zoro says he's dead. There's no reason to go to Alabasta. There's no reason to go to Mary Jo was, because of course that's their home home turf. Let's just leave it at that. If the time happens, if there's a window, we take that opportunity. And of course, Luffy's like, you're a chicken. It's funny seeing Luffy's reaction. They're all just dissing Zoro. Of course, Usopp and Chopper have a different reaction, just remembering how good of a king Cobra was and just feeling bad for Vivi, honestly. Now, of course, Sabo in the same chapter was hiding in the Luccia kingdom, one of the 8 kingdoms that rebelled, that loved him for killing King Cobra and actually succeeded in rebelling. But of course, Im-sama laid down the hammer with that ancient weapon, destroying the Luccia kingdom. And of course, the eerie text of, yeah, that kingdom never existed. We were all tripping reading that page. That page never existed. Honestly, sometimes I think the chapter never existed because we didn't get to see Luffy's dream. And I like in this chapter, Sabo does a few things that are really interesting to me. First things first, he says right away, at Dragon, I did not kill King Cobra. He gets that narrative out the way, out the window. He is not letting that narrative have spun its own webs. Then he says, I saw the empty throne and it wasn't empty. So he saw Im-sama. Sabo saw Im-sama. That's crazy because we haven't even seen Im-sama. So Sabo has seen a character we haven't even seen. We're just seeing silhouettes and whatnot. So in those spooky eyes. So honestly, Sabo, you are a man with the spotlight. I really want to hear the rest of this flashback. Yeah, of course, the last chapter 1083 was more to the story. So I can't wait to see what Sabo's gonna say more when it comes to this flashback. And if you can't wait to see future content on One Piece, come on guys, subscribe to the channel. I've been doing this for so many years. You guys know I'm gonna keep bringing you guys fire. I'm getting better at my content, and I just want to give you guys the best piece of videos you can see, of course, when it comes to One Piece. I just really want to get to the peak production until the end of the story. But subscribe to the channel, turn on notification, like the video, try to get 500 likes for this video. Now, I will be honest, I did have my doubts of Cobra's death. Honestly, the reason why I had my doubts is because when I saw Wapol and Vivi, something was off. I don't know what it was, but something was off. Then, of course, after thinking about it, Morgans did confirm that Vivi was crying the day before and that her attitude has completely changed. So, honestly, I think Vivi just got stronger and had her moment of weakness and then bounced back. And that's why I think Cobra is actually dead. This is not a false death. Now, of course, we're at the moment where Sabo is telling Monkey D. Dragon Ivankov, the founders of the Revolutionary Army, everything that happened during the Reverie, an arc that we already love, and now it's going to get even better. So honestly, I can't wait to see more of what Sabo says. This is of course chapter 1082. We're on chapter 1083 right now. 1184 is coming out next week, so we're getting more and more of Sabo revealing things. I can't wait. And of course, in the last chapter, we see Sabo in, of course, the picture, and Cobra's dead body is actually right beside Sabo. You guys see the thumbnail. I made that thumbnail myself, guys, and honestly, it looks kind of bad for Sabo. I would believe it too. Now I know why they're all tripping seeing that picture. It looks like Sabo did kill King Cobra, but knowing Sabo, we know it's cap, but still, it's very believable. Then, of course, the final piece of information we have, of course, when it comes to Sabo and Cobra and this death is, of course, the last chapter, the last page we saw. Cobra was about to meet the Gorosei. Even tells Shaka and Pell, go look after Vivi. I got this. Obviously, after we found out what happened early on, he didn't got this, but maybe he did. Maybe he knew that his time was already up because he was sick, and he was really pushing the pressure on the Gorosei to really push them to do things they really actually wanted to do. I don't know if it was part of his plan, but honestly, can't wait to see more about King Cobra and how he actually died. Now, of course, when it comes to King Cobra and this character, he was first introduced as pretty much a passionate king. We see in the Reverie, not the Reverie recently, the one before. He told Wapol to shut the hell up because Wapol was talking a whole lot of nonsense. That's how passionate he was. And then we see moments in Alabasta where he sees the reaction of Crocodile saving the people, and he pretty much says, oh my gosh, we're indebted to Crocodile. But rather than being jealous, he gives Crocodile the respect of saving the people. And of course, Crocodile was all facade, it was all bullshit. But still, I like that King Cobra didn't get upset that Crocodile was doing their job. A lot of kings would get upset and be like, yo, take this guy out, he's making us look bad. Of course, when Koza was a king, not a king, he went to King Cobra, and Cobra said, listen, I can't control the weather because I'm not a god. I'm just a king. I can only command the people. And I thought that was very profound what he said. He's pretty much telling Koza that there's things that I just can't control and you can't really blame me for. That's just the natural environment of this world that we live in. And King Cobra did respect that Koza would defy his own king for his people. Like, the fact that Cobra is not mad at someone talking crazy to him is more so respecting it, just shows you how good of a king he was. Now, some people might think this was kind of creepy scene, but let's be honest here, I thought it was very caring. Him disguising himself, of course, so he can spy on his daughter, making friends. I thought that was cool, honestly. Looking at Vivi's development and making friends as a skill when she does lead Alabasta is going to be super important, of course, and that's how she saved Alabasta, making friends that she thought she would never make, guys. She was on the opposite end, being a spy, Baroque work spy for Alabasta. So honestly, crazy how this One Piece world makes all these strings attached. And of course, Igaram did have his worries for Vivi, but her father said, King Cobra said, listen, the fact that our heart is soft is a good thing for Alabasta. Don't look at it as a negative. And of course, when he was kidnapped during the Alabasta arc, he did say, when the revolutionaries were about to fight the royal army, he said, Chaka, Koza, I don't want you two to fight. Don't fight each other. That's not the way. So even when kidnapped and tortured, he still is caring for his people. Now, what I thought was super interesting is Cobra's reaction to Crocodile mentioning Pluton. It was very shocked. It was a lot of fear. Something that we don't usually see from King Cobra. He's usually calm. So it definitely makes me think, what did he know about, of course, the ancient weapon, the voice sentry weapon? Cobra did say Alabasta's been protecting the Poneglyph for a very long time, and Nico Robin said protect. Don't make me laugh. So it's cool to see the dynamic of Nico Robin, someone of course who's from Ohara, who got destroyed for the Poneglyphs, and Cobra, who was really in the dark when it comes to what the Poneglyph's purpose really is. Now, this might be useless information, but I thought it was very cool to see. Year 239, Kahira conquered by Alabasta. Year 260, Taimar of the Baitine dynasty took the throne. Year 306, Toph Temple complete in Urmalu. And year 325, the great hero of Ulti Mamudin. Now I'm thinking, could that great hero be Joy Boy? Who knows? But I'm assuming this information is from the Void Century. I could be wrong, though we do know that Robin was kind of BSing Crocodile when telling this information. And pretty much, let's be honest here, like when this happened, Crocodile cut her off. It's like, yo, stop the BS, yo. What is actually there? Like, tell me what's there. And even Cobra was watching like, this girl's BSing. But still, how much of it was a BS, the history of Avarner? Or was it more so the history of... we know Alabasta was very important during the Void Century. And Crocodile did confirm what we all believed. The reaction of Cobra when hearing Pluton confirmed Pluton does exist. Of course, now we have knowledge that Pluton is in Wano, but still, it's cool to see Crocodile even getting to that conclusion early on in the series. And still, even when things are looking so bad, as the 12th ruler of the Alabasta Kingdom, he said, nah, I'm gonna kill myself so I can take down you and Nico Robin to Crocodile. I respect it, yo. He's going down with the ship for his people. He knows the kingdom comes first. And then seeing Cobra's reaction, just complete shock when Luffy says, I will die for Vivi. If we die, we die. Pretty much saying the fact that Vivi wants to die for her people, he does not want Vivi to die. And honestly, because Vivi is his friend, and Cobra's just looking at this guy thinking, who the hell is this guy? But whoever he is, this guy is goated. And Cobra has always been an observant character. The King Cobra, when Pal slapped his daughter and Igaram was pissed off, Cobra said, no, wait, let this guy cook. And seeing how patient this king is, his own daughter getting hit, obviously was to be taught a lesson by Pal. And honestly, just shows you how his character, how he doesn't jump the gun. He doesn't jump to conclusions. He's very, how do I say this, patient. Cobra, you have my thanks. That's what he said. King Cobra said to Luffy, you have my thanks. I like to think Luffy was mentioned in the meeting with the Gorosei. Honestly, Luffy now is Joy Boy, but I feel like Luffy, whether it was Joy Boy or Luffy, someone that was connected to Luffy was mentioned. I think that would be the case. And of course, we know that Luffy carried Cobra and Nico Robin out the tomb after he was done feeding Crocodile, but I just love the scene of Cobra then carrying Luffy all the way to the Straw Hat Pirates. I just thought that was so cool to see. Pretty much we all know how Alabasta is super connected to the One Piece world building, so I thought it was cool. Of course, when they're all celebrating and resting up after their huge battles, he gifts Nami books, and one of the books is of oceanology. And Nami's like, you really gonna give me all these books? And he's like, I already read every single one of them. It just shows you his knowledge is very vast. And of course, the epic scene of what he did, same thing Goldie Roger did when he bowed down to Whitebeard in the flashback. He bowed down to Luffy, nosebleed and all. It was pretty funny, bowing down to Luffy and showing respect. A king is not supposed to bow down, guys. You even see later on, he says a king is a regular person when he's not wearing his wardrobe, his robe in a sense. And as a citizen and a father, from the bottom of his heart, he said to Luffy, thank you, and the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates. So he was very, very, how do I say this, appreciative of what the acts they did to save Alabasta. Now, of course, we got the confirmation that Nico Robin was capping, of course, about the ancient weapon, and pretty much the Poneglyph did say the whereabouts of the ancient weapon, which we now know is in Wano. So I thought that was pretty cool to see that Cobra knew that Robin was capping about it, and they were kind of in the ends when it comes to Crocodiles. Crocodile knew too, but he was just upset, like, wow, you really telling all that BS? And I thought it was super cool that Cobra was shocked to hear the true history can be found, and that's why his kingdom is protected. Like, he's not really knowing why his kingdom is protecting the Poneglyphs, because he just thought it was just protecting the Poneglyphs for a secret reason. Now he's thinking, if the true history is on the Poneglyphs, why are we actually protecting these Poneglyphs? What's wrong? What are they hiding? Now he knows that his kingdom was in the ends of what happened during the Void's entry. At the end of the day, guys, they are celestial dragons. That's why you see the title Saint Cobra Nefetrari. Like, they are a part of the people that went up against Joy Boy. And of course, we got confirmation in chapter 823 when he said Robin motivated him to ask the world government about the Poneglyphs, which of course we know got him untimely killed. Honestly, and maybe it was timely, I'm not too sure, but the fact that he was sick and he was motivated by Nick Robin's words, I love it. And we kind of got a foreshadowing of that in chapter 641's cover when he's, of course, bedridden. King Cobra is bedridden, so I thought that was cool too. Now, I do gotta say this. New deaths, well, I do see some new deaths happening. I think, of course, the fact that Garp is saving Kobe on Blackbeard, the Yonko's territory. Garp has death legs. Then, of course, Shanks trying to find information about Blackbeard and Marineford War. He's saying, Blackbeard saying not yet to fight him. They're gonna fight, and one person has to lose, and Blackbeard's fighting Luffy. So it's looking like Shanks might have some death legs too. Then, of course, is Aokiji. How is he going to leave Blackbeard? We know he's not the same mentality as Blackbeard. And, of course, there's a lot of death legs for Aokiji as well. Of course, he's fighting Garp right now, too. So, honestly, there's a lot of characters with death legs. But I know you guys really care more about the Straw Hats and who has death legs in the Straw Hat. Well, Luffy, of course, automatically has death legs because he's leading this crazy powerful group of characters, so he's always obviously gonna have death legs. He's always going against the strongest character ever. He just went up against the strongest creature alive and died and became Joy Boy. So something makes people believe, though, unlike Roger, Luffy will survive at the end. But I think Usopp is what scares me the most. I think his death legs are the biggest in the Straw Hats. He did say, I want to die a brave warrior of the sea, and a lot of what Usopp says becomes true. And Elbaf being around the corner, we just saw, of course, Dory and Bragi, best friends to Usopp. Honestly, his father was just on Elbaf. This arc just looks like the culmination of Usopp becoming a top-tier Straw Hat pirate, a legendary Straw Hat pirate, and then after that, going into the final war and dying in the final war. But yeah, like I said, guys, the end of One Piece is coming. Deaths are coming, and Cobra is just the start of it. Click on the end screen if you guys want to see my video called The Strongest Holy Knight. Shanks, of course, everyone knows Dragon, mentioned the God Knights and the silhouettes. I made a video about it, even paid a thumbnail artist for that video. So guys, check that video out, support it if you guys can. And like and share if you enjoy. Like and share only if you enjoy subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the Legend Mac, and I'm gone.